You know what would be a neat thing to do? You should go back to all my videos and see like how close the camera is to me and back and forth, and just see that. Just watch those videos and see what happens. Like the next video, my camera might be closer to me, the next one might be further away. Who knows? Either way, I'm getting already off the subject because today I finally watched that movie, that good old movie by Ari Aster, Midsommar. And what this movie's about? Well, you got, a group of friends that go to a festival in Sweden. This stuff goes awry. It just gets out of hand. And I'm about to dive into it because this movie gave me feelings of excitement, boredom, and downright complacency. And you're probably thinking, oh no, you better get this bad review. I'm not. So don't turn off that channel. Stay tuned. Today I'm going to review the movie Midsommar. What's up, world? Welcome to another episode of Movie Breakdowns. I'm your host, Ali Zakka. What's up, world? Welcome to another episode of Movie Breakdowns. I'm your host, Ali Zakka. And what is Movie Breakdowns? It's a movie review series where we look at new and old movies, give them a grade A through F. Plus and minuses do count. And if there's a movie you want me to review, let me know. Please put in the comment section below, and I'll get to it as best I can. I also have a Patreon. It's Patreon/Ali Zakka. And on this Patreon, you can get first come, first serve when it comes to movie reviews. You pretty much ask for a review, I'll hop in there and get it right away. Also, on the movie reviews, you get all the movie reviews before they come out on Facebook and YouTube. And add more to it, you get trailer reactions, trailer reviews, first thoughts, and many more things. Now, let's go ahead and get into today's review of Midsommar. This was a request by my friends Steve and Kelsey. They both like, hey Ali, check this movie out. Steve is a horror movie fan. He loves horror movies. He's like, dude, you gotta check this movie out. If you saw Hereditary, you gotta check this one, because made by the same guy, Ari Aster. You gotta do it, bro. And Hereditary, I'm gonna start calling this the Wonder Woman syndrome. It is when a movie does so good from part A, from like part A, B, and C, from the beginning, middle, and then the end drops off. Call it the Wonder Woman syndrome. Hereditary does it. And that movie was great. I love the lighting, I love the acting. Phenomenal for the first part of it. The first part, middle part, and then that ending where you're like, sure, okay. And then This Is England does the same thing. You're like, we was almost there. We almost had a touchdown. We could have been a B-rated movie, but we didn't stick the landing. Well, in Midsommar, Ari Aster doesn't get as crazy as you think. Like, this movie to me, and maybe because I've seen horror movies and different things of this nature, that it was foreshadowed. And maybe because I knew what the movie, who directed the movie, and I knew that like he liked to play games like this, so I was already expecting some kind of crazy twist after watching Hereditary. I was already expecting the movie to reveal stuff to me throughout the movie, so I'm already catching this. Maybe I was being smarter than the movie, I don't know, but I was already catching the bits and pieces played out throughout the movie. And then when the stuff actually does happen, I'm like, called it. And this would be a horror movie. I felt like it wasn't a horror movie. I felt like it was more of a drama. When you go look it up on Google, Midsommar is considered a horror/drama. And I was like, where's the horror at? Well, horror is something that causes intense pain, feeling of shock or disgust, which dictionary.com states, or as the Webster Dictionary states, it's painful, intense fear, dread, or dismay. So this movie does that. So technically, in a sense, it is a horror movie with your horror tropes in it, but it's not as scary. I never felt like fear for the main characters. I just felt like how it's gonna play out, because I already saw the ending from the beginning. Like it was that kind of movie. Once a certain character gets introduced, I'm gonna break it all down. And then drama, I also looked this up because I was like, what? No, let me just get the idea of a drama. And according to Webster's Dictionary, a drama is a story that involves conflicts and emotion through actions and dialogue, and a state, situation, or series of events involving interesting or intense conflicts or forces. And then last but not least, the third the third definition here: a play, movie, or television with a serious tone or subject. This movie is pretty much serious with a few jokes sprinkled in there. And this movie, to me, if you are somebody who, I guess, if you love horror movies, if you love suspense, you might enjoy this movie. But the problem with this movie is that the pacing of it, to me, was off. It seemed like there were scenes where the pacing was just too long, where it was too slow, and then it'll hype you up for a big moment and then drop you back down. And the way I put it, every traditional scene, like based off the culture of the area they went to, was slow. People staring, people standing for long periods of time and staring, people moving slowly and staring. And I'm just like, okay, I get it. You want to build up the culture and you want to show how dynamic these people are and what they're into. I get that, but why is it so long to get to the part that I know is going to happen? Because the character already foreshadowed this about 5 minutes ago, but now we're still here at this scene that's going to happen. This movie does that a lot. But before I jump into the story, the great parts of this movie, this part is like, this movie has me like pulling at what I want to give the grade, because certain things at the end of this review, I don't have my final conclusion, but the acting, phenomenal. These characters, these actors and actresses just go all in. They are so good. The lighting and the clips and the switching and like the directing of the movie is great too. Like there's different angles, the camera angles of this movie is great. Just like Hereditary, where the camera angles show a different spot and then zoom in or pans out, or you get a different angle where you're watching somebody walk into a room and you see above and then clicks and there's somewhere else, or you see them in a certain spot and then pops over and the light changes, different tones and take. Great. The lighting, Ari Aster does a great job. He did in Hereditary, he did in Midsommar, with the lighting and the setup and the background, the props and foreshadows, and not the foreshadow, but the cameraing. And like you see a camera, somebody's in the background, and all of a sudden they move and they're doing something else. And this scene is not even a scary scene, but it's a scene in the movie where Pale, who is the Swedish character in the movie, who pretty much brings the group to Sweden, he's talking to Danny, who's the main protagonist of the movie. He's talking to her, and honestly, it's not Mark. Josh is the guy in the movie who's the student who's really serious about everything. He is sitting down, and Pell and Danny are talking to each other, and there's a sense where the group of friends don't like Danny. I'm not getting into this. Don't like Danny. So Pell is talking and trying to get more friendly with Danny. Josh sees this and he gets up and walks away. And then you see Danny talking, and in the background Josh is doing stuff, like just pretty much cleaning dishes, and he sits in he's drinking coffee, so he cleaned like the cup out and then walks in and sit down in the chair behind her. And it's so, those little things like that, I was like geeking out about, like, oh, that's so cool. It's a light little thing, but I love that kind of stuff. And this movie has a lot of things like that. Now, the pacing is one thing I didn't like. The foreshadow, I seen it so much that I was getting bored with watching this movie, because I knew what was going to happen next. I saw what was going to happen next, and just took forever to drag out. So let's go and get into the story. Now, this is pretty neat. I like this opener. So the opener starts off where you have Danny, who is played by Florence Pugh, who is great, by the way. She is phenomenal in this movie. She's trying to get a hold of her sister. Her sister's in the process of committing murder-suicide. She set the house on fire, she set the house on fire, and they, the family but choked to death. And Danny's at the time trying to get a hold of her sister. Nobody's picking up, nobody's doing anything, and she calls her boyfriend, who is Christian. And Christian is this guy who, for a moment, I can see a relationship like this, where I'm trying to get the characters pulled up here, and I keep jumping all over the place in my notes here. But he is in this relationship with Danny, and he doesn't want to be in this relationship. Like, he definitely doesn't want to be in it, but he's in it, and he's like, okay, trying to find a way to get out. And Mark makes a comment that, like, why you keep putting up with this girl? Why you keep doing this? You know you don't like her. She complains, she whines, she's soul sucking. You keep trying to get out. You've been trying to do this for about a year. You need to end it. Well, Christian's on the idea of ending it, and then he finds out that Danny's parents die and her sister died. So Danny has no family at this point, and she's the point where she talks to her friend in the movie where she's like, am I being a little too much? Am I overbearing? And her friend's like, no, that's what he's here for. He's your boyfriend. He's there for you like that. That's what he needs to be there for. And Christian's now stuck in a sense in this relationship because he can't break up with his girlfriend after she lost so much. And he's trying to get out of it. He's trying to get out of it, but he can't do it because she lost everything. And I realized that she doesn't have any friends in this movie. It's just her boyfriend and his friends. So Christian's like, hey, I'm going to a party. So he's doing things that right now show that he doesn't care about her. Like, he's like, go to a party, not invite her. And she's like, I'll go with it, go with you. And she's still trying to process everything. She's still coping with her family dying. And at this party, she overhears Christian, Pale, Josh, and Mark talk about going to Sweden. They talked about it early in the movie, which is probably 10 minutes before. And now they're talking about going to Sweden. And she's like, wait, I didn't know you planned on going to Sweden. She's like, okay, cool. And she confronts Mark about this, and Mark actually turns it against her. So now it's showing that Danny has insecurity. She's not a confident person. She's kind of yearning for Christian's, like, not love, yearning for his love, yearning for his acceptance. Because she's like, confronts him about, hey, how can you tell me you plan on going to Sweden? And he's like, I thought I told you. I thought I said I wanted to go. She's like, you said you wanted to go. You never said you confirmed. She's like, how would you feel if I did this with my friends? And he turns it and flips it on her and maybe I should go. Like, he's trying to end the relationship in the beginning of the movie. And she doesn't want it to end because that's the last thing that she has that represents her life at this point. And this relationship between those two is done so well. It is written so well in this movie. Like, that is one of the best things to me in this movie, is that relationship, because it's so real. I've seen my friends and stuff like that. I've not been in a relationship where I felt like I've probably been more Danny, pretty much put it that way. I've probably been more Danny in a relationship where I want the relationship to continue, even though it's going downhill, and I see bits and pieces of it going downhill. Like, she's seen it, like he's avoiding her, trying to get out of situations, but she's kind of like popping herself still in the situation versus like, no, do your thing. I'm now like, no, you do your thing. I'm out. You tell me you don't want to be a part of this. I can't force you. But don't try to run away from me. Just be upfront, honest. She actually wants to keep going, and he's trying to get out. He's trying to do little microaggressions to get her and tell her, like, I'm out of this relationship. I'm not in this anymore. So, and he talks bad about her. You can tell that he talks bad about her to his friends because they get around her. You know, the movie doesn't show they have any kind of connection to her, but through Christian. And when he brings her along, they're kind of like, this annoying girl is with us. Like, she's annoying. She's here. Why is she here? Like, Josh feels that way. Mark feels that way. Pale doesn't. Pale has an interest in Danny. And beginning of this movie, I'm thinking this interest is set up like you're the chosen one, because of course Hereditary had the chosen one being I can think of his name right now, the boy in the Hereditary. So I'm thinking she's the chosen one in this movie. And you see images of a blonde girl on like pictures and stuff like that throughout the movie. Comes when you get to the coat in Sweden, when you get to Pell's home, you start to see like these images like that, and I'm thinking that, okay, it's gonna be Danny. She's the chosen one that Pell is priming to be taken by the coat to be their new whatever. And that happens, but it doesn't happen like you think it'll happen. And I do applaud Aster for that. I do applaud Ari Aster for not giving it like a normal trope way. He actually went in a roundabout way to get her to be that the chosen one. But she is it. That's all written on the movie. And Pale's attached to her and everything. And Pale was like, hey, I'm glad you're coming with us, Danny. I'm actually excited you're coming with us. You can see my homeland and all this stuff. And Josh going to Sweden because he wanted to do a story on Pale's background. Like he heard about his family, like this could be interesting. So he wanted to do a paper on it for school. Mark is going because he wants to get laid. And then Christian is going because he gets to escape his life for the moment and just go hang out with the boys, which they're also trying to get laid. So he's pretty much going to cheat on his girlfriend. But because she comes along, he doesn't cheat yet. That gets into another thing. So the movie already talks about how Christian and the gang, they smoke, they do drugs. So they're tripping, and I think in the part of the beginning of the movie they're tripping, and or they're just down to the city, where they're gonna eat. And when they get to Sweden, they take some more like mushrooms that make them trip. And it's a moment where the tripping scene goes a little too long. Danny has a moment, and then they finally get to but Pale's home, and you get to see the culture. And the first thing I thought it was very interesting that Ari Aster did this. Everybody in the coat is white. Josh is the only black guy. Now I've listened to a bunch of reviews of this movie. Not one person pointed this out yet. Maybe they have, but I just haven't heard their review yet. And this is coming from a black guy. But most people I listen to besides have been I haven't really listened to that many people of color regarding this movie. So I'm curious to see. I'm listening to one guy to see like if he may notice and take it. I noticed, but yeah, Josh is the only black guy in the movie. In the coat, there's two British characters in the movie, and I think they're Middle Eastern. Yeah, I think, but. They are also part of the movie, but they go away pretty quick. They're not like as prominent as Josh is. Josh is super prominent. And I started to think like, oh, he has to die in this movie because it's a code. If Danny's going, there's me putting pieces together. I already watched this movie. If Danny's going to be the chosen one, the rest of them has to go eventually. And Pale's bringing him into this, so he's already surviving. The rest of them have to go. This is me thinking this horror movie. And it plays out like that a little bit. It does plays out like that, but not how you think. Because it's almost like their own doing that caused them to die, but not how it does in most horror movies. The tropes are there, but it's not how it does in most horror movies. So they fall into the culture, and after they're tripping, they meet a bunch of friends. They meet like the two British characters, and Connie and Simon. They meet them. And they're all there, and they're experiencing Pale's showing everybody like, this is my sister, this is my brother, this is my dad, this is this. So he's showing off the family and everything, which he actually is a foster kid, so the coat brought him in. And throughout the movie, you see different traditions. Well, Pale is dropping tidbits of what's going to happen. There's a part where he talks about how the lifespan of people in the coat, up to 18, it is spring. You're up to 18 years old, and then from 18 to 36, you live in this room where everybody is considered summer. Then from 36 to, I want to say it was 50 something, or no, 50 or 60 something, it is fall, and then from 50 something to 72 is winter. And Danny asks this thing, what happens at winter, after winter? And he goes, so I'm like, oh, okay, you die. That's pretty much it. He wasn't being joking. He was like, here. And throughout the movie, Pale's getting closer and closer to Danny. So I'm thinking he's definitely trying to take her over for some reason. And Christian's now checking out other girls in the area. And I do like how they had a dynamic where Christian is walking by himself or walking ahead of Danny. He's not with her. And then the British couple is there, Simon and Connie, and they're all over each other. They're around each other all the time. They're holding each other, walking together. But Danny and Christian are not. Even Danny's birthday happens during this movie. Christian forgets, but Pale remembers. And Pale gives her, they tell her happy birthday, come closer to her. Christian try to do a birthday cake thing after Pale tells Christian. So he forgets, and then he doesn't remember how long it was been dating. They've been dating for 4 years and 2 months. He think it's 3 years, and Danny corrects him on it. So it shows like the division between the relationship already compared to everything else. I do like how Ari Aster showed how the relationship is broken compared to everybody else, and this plays into it more. It really does, because it makes more sense as in why she chooses who she chooses at the end. Once again, I'm jumping ahead. So you get to see a ceremony where after you hit 72, you die. And they do a ceremony where 2 elderly people put their blood on some stones and they jump off this cliff. The 2 British lads, they freak out. They freak out. They lose it. They freak out. And it makes sense. Josh is freaking out for a moment. Mark leaves to go to the bathroom or go to bed. Christian freaks out for a moment, and Danny freaks out for a moment because Danny has a flashback to her parents. But then they all quickly come to it like, oh, this is here. We're here for a school trip. This is some paper. So Josh wants to stay. Christian's like, I want to do my paper here now. So he's gonna stay. Danny's like, I'm here because the guys are here. My boyfriend's here. But Connie and Simon's like, no man, bump this. We out of here. I just threw the fingers up. Sorry guys. We out of here. And they don't make it out. They disappear. And you're like, okay, cool. But then you get more slow-paced stuff. Get more slow-paced stuff after that. You get a part where Christian is a very manipulative person. He's trying to use Pell to help him write the paper, and then trying to get Josh to convince Josh to write the paper with him. So Christian's been a very manipulative person, manipulating Danny and his friend group. Mark is just there. That's comic relief. And he gets killed for using the bathroom on a sacred tree of the of Pell's family, of the culture. I'm gonna call it the Sweden coat. And that caused an issue with the group. So he's about to get taken out. You know that's gonna happen. And then Josh gets taken out when he's constantly trying to get pictures and keep diving into the lore of the coat and the history of it. Well, he gets caught and he gets killed. So Josh is gone, Mark is gone, and then you leave Danny and Christian. Now one of the girls in the coat has taken a liking to Christian and is doing little subtle things where she's been getting around him. And there's a part where she put her pubic hair into his food and he takes a bite of it and he's like, I think there's pube in my food. I don't know what's going on. And there's a part of the movie where he asks a lady, and the lady says, I think my daughter is taking a liking to you. And he goes, I think I ate her pube. And the lady goes, that's correct. I just started dying laughing. I was like, what? I don't think that's something funny, but it was hilarious to me. I cracked up. It would have been a very serious thing, but I cracked up. And another thing with this movie, it's really big on psychedelics. Like, the coat drugs Danny, Christian, and the rest of the gang a lot. When they eat and drink stuff, they're getting drugged. And there's a part where Danny is chosen to play this game to see who's gonna be the new May Queen. And Pell at this point, towards the end, Pell taking a back seat to the movie. Like, he's not really as prominent as he was at the beginning of the movie. And Danny is playing like this last woman standing battle royale dance battle royale thing where if you bump into somebody and you knock them down, they're out the game, and the last woman standing becomes the May Queen. Pell didn't know that she was gonna be the May Queen, but he chose her to come here, and she ended up becoming the May Queen. So now she's the leader of the cult. All right, Christian is chosen by Maya. Chosen by Maya to be, her name is spelled M-A-J-A, if I said Maja, but Maya to be like her vessel to, not a vessel, to be like, they almost use, I'm trying to say, sex as like, it was a ceremony, and she just needed, like, she didn't want Christian himself, she just wanted his genes. So she pretty much been messing with him throughout the movie, and he's been flirting with the idea of cheating with Danny. So he's already been like preyed on. Like he's not a strong person. We can prey on him, and let's go ahead and get his genes. So she wanted his genes to have a baby so they can continue the cult. Because there's a part of the movie where Christian asks a guy like, how do you guys continue this cult? And the guy says, we bring people from the outside in, and they pretty much continue the gene. Now we do have some inbreeding, but normally you're not supposed to inbreed. Like cousins can do it, but that's about it. So they bring people from the outside in. And that's already another thought right there. Like, oh, look at that. Another flag. There was like, I'm sure I can remember this at the end of the movie, but I'm gonna go through my notes after I get done talking about the ending of the movie to see if I can remember it. If I wrote it down, if I didn't, I'm trying to go on top of my head. But yeah, that's a flag right there. Anyway, so Christian gets seduced after being drugged to have sex with Maya, and there's this really long sex scene where he is pretty much going to town. They're getting together, they're getting busy, and I guess the elderly women, some women of the village, it's like singing, what is this happening? And one of the ladies go up and grab Christian's face as he's like in the position of with Maya, and I'm like, I'm not sure I can take this. This is hilarious. Like, this is too funny. And while that's happening, after Danny became the May Queen, she's blessing the crops and everything, and doing the things that the queen would do. And then she finds out that Christian cheated, and she sees it through a keyhole and loses it. She loses it. She starts screaming again, like cause she lost her parents. She was screaming when every time she cries or sees something happen, she's screaming, and this pain is welling, and she's welling again. And then the women that are not part of the ceremony, they go find her and they start screaming with her. And I'm like, I get it. You share your pain. You share the pain. I get the emotional. Like if you're feeling pain, you know, the group around you feel pain. I get it because it shows that the cult is a unit. They're unity. There's not individual. Like the colors, everything they wear is not really individualistic. They're more all the same color, same palette. And by them screaming together, they're like sharing the pain. They're sharing it with her. I get that, but also that's another comical thing to me because one of the extras looks really like she just like into it, but wasn't into it. Now it's just like I can't do this. This movie's too funny at the end. But I'm thinking the movie's gonna end like that because Christian realized what he did. He runs away and then gets knocked out again after he like escapes and finds Simon's dead body. He gets knocked out, and I'm thinking, oh, this other movie's gonna end. No, it doesn't. There's 9 offerings to some deity, and the 9th one is picked by the May Queen. And guess who Danny picks? Christian. And they put Christian into a bear costume, like a live bear suit. Like they cut this bear out, put him inside a bear, put him inside this yellow house. That's considered a yellow barn, almost considered like some kind of ritual. And then the 8 other people who were volunteered or brought into the cult that Pell brought in 4. He brought in Danny, who became the May Queen, Christian. He brought in Josh. He brought in Mark. And then his brother brought in Connie and Simon. And that left 2 volunteers from Christian, Josh, Mark, Connie, Simon. Then you had 2 members from the clan and then 2 more volunteers from the clan. So there you have 9. Oh no, sorry, you have 9. If I can count. But Christian, the 9th one, was chosen by Danny. And they both drug the 2 volunteers. They weren't feeling pain during the ritual. Well, one of the guys doesn't get drugged, and he starts screaming. And the rest of the group started screaming with him as he's burning in his in this barn, and Danny is screaming, and there's this part where like the camera pans out and you see this giant flower dress that she's wearing, and she's screaming, and then she stops screaming and just starts watching, and then starts to smile at the end of the movie. And that was me realizing she's finally free. She found her family. She's now a leader of a group of people, and she's finally free. I got that, but it took so long to get there. This movie is 2 hours and 27 minutes long. 147 minutes. It really took forever to get to that point. The ending, once everything plays out, it's good. It just takes forever, and the low parts of the movie is so boring that I saw everything coming, and it just dragged the heck out, which sucks because everything else in this movie was good. It was a dry. Parts of the movie was dry, parts of the movie was good, and parts of the movie was dry. And the ending I was laughing at, which I don't think I was supposed to be laughing, but I didn't take it seriously anymore. Yeah. Alright, let me see other thoughts here before I get into characters. Okay, so I don't have any more thoughts on here besides what I already said, but I definitely will try to foreshadow. I should have wrote it down, but Hereditary really was the movie that when I watched that movie and seeing like all the little things that was in that movie after watching the second time, I was like, this movie gonna have those things already played out for us, and they did. You had Pale, who was the person from the cult, come in to find the group. He found the group of people who like to do drugs, who like to get high and just trip. So he got them so it could be easily to say, hey, drink this, because you're already accepting to taking other things with somebody just telling you like, oh, you want to try mushrooms? I don't know you. Sure. Hey, want to drink this juice? I don't know you. Sure. It makes you feel a little more loose and accepting. My guy, don't just drink random things from people you don't know. But okay, they're going with it. And you can argue they've been there a long time. I don't give a rat's butt. Some random stranger told me to drink something. I'm not drinking it. That's just me. You're like, Ali, you're not adventurous. Yeah, also getting murdered isn't adventurous either. I don't want that adventure. I don't want that adventure. Anyway, so yeah, so they do things like that. And also with that being said, so that's one thing. He grabs the group and he shows Danny a few things, and he comes closer to Danny, so he's trying to indoctrinate her. I can see him doing that. Now, did he know she's gonna become the May Queen? No, but it's funny how she does. Also, the guy telling Christian that, you know, we don't incest really. Only a few cousins do. We don't really do incest here. You know, they do. They're the people who are their like rabbis. They're actually incested people who've been made out of incest, and they are the ones who decide what happens and how things go. The movie talks about that. That's a whole nother story. We really deep dive into it. But he talks about how outside people come in and they pretty much become part of the group. So there's already talking about somebody's in that group is somebody's gonna be stuck within the group. You saw that coming. Oh, Simon left by himself to go to the train, and so did Simon, and Connie was like, where did Simon go? He would never leave me. Okay, he's gone. Just at him randomly. Nobody knows where he's at. And the guy makes this lie about where he went. Okay, Connie leaves. Saw it coming. There's no other people of color in the cult. Josh stands out. He's gonna die. Called it. Also, what Danny get indoctrinated into the cult. Called it. Christian cheating on Danny. Called it. And getting killed. Called it. The movie has a lot of things you see that's set up. Also, Christian being the person. I thought it was gonna be. There's an image you see of a woman and you see her like being mesmerized and then like making something and then bleeds like legit cut pubic hair and then shows her bleeding into the food from her vagina, bleeding into her food from her vagina, and then feeds it to a guy. That's probably like her sign of marking her territory. That guy she fed to that you saw coming was Christian. Pale saying how death happens after 72, and he goes like that. Then you see two old people who die. This movie gives it away. It gives you every little thing, so you're not really surprised by what happened next, and that's the sad part. All right, characters. Florence Pugh as Danny, freaking amazing, amazing. She is phenomenal, like so good, so good. Jack Reynor as Christian, he does great too. I'll talk about them real quick. So Florence plays the character of the insecure lady who wants to be earned and wants a relationship so bad, and she wants to be with this guy who she thinks really cares for her, and she's doing all the things, she's going along with the group, not trying to make anybody mad, not trying to make anybody upset, so she just follows along for everything. She plays the insecure character so well. Jack Reynor who plays Christian. Christian's a dick. He doesn't care about his girlfriend, he only cares about himself, he manipulates other people in the group, and he plays back like he's not the manipulator, and he is. Like, he definitely do things like that, and his death is something like, okay, I'm glad that he got his comeuppance, and the movie kind of plays on that a little bit, but he still gets his little bit of moment where he gets to hook up and cheat, but then he gets killed. But yeah, Jack did a good job. Wilhelm Baumgarten, who plays Pell, great job. William Jackson Harper, who played Josh, great. William Poulter, who plays Mark, he's great. Laura Torchia, who plays Connie, she did great. And Archie Madewaki did great too. So the cast is great. Ashton, Ari Aster does a great job with filming and setting and backgrounds and camera angles like he did in Hereditary. All that stuff was great. And this movie gives a complete story, but unfortunately you know how it's going to end, and the bad parts are just the slow pacing. The very, very slow pacing really drops it. Like, the low parts hit hard and drop the movie hard, and then you get moments of high and just drop low again. It's so bad. So with that, is this a Friday night movie? No, it's too slow at certain points to be a Friday night movie. Grading time. I'm going to grade Midsommar a C+. The reason why, the acting is great. The directing, as far as setup and background and costume design and lighting and camera angles and all the other things, great. Problem is the pacing. It's not so great. The pacing of the movie is really bad at certain times, and the storyline is halfway good. The storyline between the girlfriend and boyfriend, phenomenal. That makes you feel something. The horror stuff, the stuff where it's foreshadowed, you see what's going to happen, you know what's going to happen, and then the slow drop off on. Like, every time a traditional scene came on, it was super slow and it was boring to watch, and it was a crud to get to. And then the ending, I kind of laugh at certain scenes. I don't think I should have been laughing, but I did. So, C+. Okay, if you've seen Midsommar, what did you think? Please put in the comment section below. I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Thank you guys for watching this episode of Movie Breakdowns. Please give a like. Love you guys. See y'all next time. Keep being awesome. Thank you guys for watching this episode. I really appreciate it. Please like, share, subscribe, and tell a friend about my series. Tell a friend about Grind Towards Success. Tell a friend about the Movie Breakdown series. If you really like these episodes, I really appreciate it. It means so much to me. It means so much. I can't tell you how much it means. Like, it's like, I'll be really grateful you just told a friend and share and subscribe to the series. And thank you guys for watching this. Also, if you want to follow my journey outside of YouTube or Facebook, you can go to my Instagram page, and you can follow me on my Instagram page at Ali_Zakka. It's right here. Put it right here in my face. That way you're like, where's his face at? Well, it's right behind the Instagram logo. Yeah, but you can follow me on my Instagram page. And also, if you want another episode of Grind Towards Success or Movie Breakdowns, you can watch the episode of Grind Towards Success right here. You can watch the last episode of Movie Breakdowns right there. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. See you guys next time. Keep being awesome.